Okay, hopefully with the microphone here on my neck, you'll be able to hear me over the cars. But I'm just here having a read, and I thought I might share. So, lesson number 29 under unit number 8 of the home study course of the Science of Man from the Universal Law of Natural Science and Living Philosophy by Lau and Walter Russell. God's universal language of light. A language is something created by all creatures of the animal kingdom to convey the meaning of an idea from one manifestation of idea to another. That in itself is inextricably misunderstood in today's culture when it comes to language. So many people argue about going back on what some people say because it's not the first thing that you said, and now you're just trying to change what you said because you did something bad or it caused offense. It's like, yes, you're allowed to do that, because if you choose words that don't convey what the meaning is, then the language is incorrect and you're allowed to re-choose that. That is your freedom of choice. You may present and represent yourself as many times as needed. Insects, birds, fishes, animals of the forest and jungle, humans all issue sounds which convey meanings to their like kind, and all such meanings convey the ideas of matehood, hunger, fear, anger, and other ideas which are necessary for the survival, continuity, and education of the countless pairs of idea bodies which constitute creation. We have purposely not as yet used the term idea bodies, but will henceforth do so, to replace the term matter now given to created manifestations of idea in this divided universe of motion. For every form of matter ever created, such as simple atomic bodies or complex systems of bodies, manifests and represents one of the countless ideas which the Creator has divided from the one whole idea, which needs but one word, creation, to convey its meaning. And that's why we don't get caught up on the word or the name of it, because, again, it's not the form it takes, it's the essence. The form needs to change depending upon who is receiving it. A man will receive a form differently from a woman, an adult different from a child, a European different from an African. Okay, you've got so many different spectrums of reality across all expanses, and that's exactly the reason why all snowflakes are unique, same as you and me. So we have an axiom here that's being shaped up. Idea, idea, is a part of the eternal, uncreated, and undivided white mind light, which is God. Which God is. While idea bodies are spectrum-divided extensions of that undivided white light which centers every wave of them. God's knowing is that one light, but one white light, but God's thinking is divided octave wave spectrum of the 4 pairs of spectrum lights which extend from that white light 4 on each side, which constitutes the thought bodies of mind thinking and mind imagining, left and right. 8 octaves, It is not yet entered within human consciousness to think of matter as thought bodies or of waves as pure thought recordings of God. The soul teacher makes use of to intercommunicate with every thought body in the moving universe. Neither does it occur to anyone that everything in the universe is constantly talking to every other thing, telling it what it is doing, what its purpose is. An apple, for example, does not need to say in words, "I'm an apple." Its form, color, odor, and taste tell you that without need of words. But you identify that apple idea by giving it a word in man's language. The ringing of a bell telling you in sound that church is ready for services, or that there is a fire, or that it is high noon. if you will learn to look upon creation as an assemblage of many ideas and realize that the only knowledge you can ever acquire is an awareness of the nature and purpose of each and every created thing, as well as the process used in the creation of that thing, you will soon realize that you are forever talking to nature, and nature is forever talking to you. The more you do this, the more you acquire God awareness. For God is nature, and that is what we mean by cosmic thinking. For cosmic thinking is actually talking to God, as God is forever talking to you in his universal language of light. Yeah, this is beautiful. But also, yes, fantastically points out how a lot of people still labor under the assumption that the purpose of communication is appropriate sentence structure or grammar or the right words or something artificial. But all of this is just the bows and dingly dangly bits that we attach to the top of the meaning in hopes that we'll get some attention. Meaning, the actual thing that we're trying to communicate is something that doesn't exist here. You can't see the meaning, you can't sense the meaning using our traditional five senses that I'm trying to convey to you behind these words. You need to take these words, relay them against your internal understanding system, translate them, replay them back to yourself, and then fit that into your model of understanding of cosmology in order for you to be able to interpret that. Your subconscious then takes the reins and proffers the most appropriate outputs based on pattern recognition and survivability, unless, of course, you've taken charge of that and have modified that. However, the big thinking that we've got to remember about all of this is that it's not about whether or not we're doing it right or wrong. It's about whether or not it's serving us or not. So it's not about you giving up language. It's not about you getting anal about this or dropping that and only doing this. I'm not telling you to stop anything. I'm telling you to, in between everything that you're doing, make sure that you dig deeper than the surface level. Because the surface level is just your senses, and if that's all that you will ever think reality is, then you're missing the love that people are putting into the words for you. That's the reason why words are magical. That's the reason why prayers matter. That's the reason why thoughts and care matters, and then compassion causes and inflects a thing called compersion in many, and also gratification in many others, appreciation in many others. These are real, tangible, chemical measured differences that happen because of the things that we put into the words, not because of the words themselves. If you said the words to somebody who doesn't understand English, it wouldn't mean to them. You've got to put the meaning into it. That's the idea that they're talking about. If we can all remember that, we can retain much more awareness and control through tense moments in relationships where we are rubbing up against each other in our opinions of certain things, or our experiences, our opinions of our experiences of certain things. And remember that just because we have an idea or even a meaning or even a set of words doesn't mean that that's empirically and utterly, concretely imperative through all aspects of reality. Everything is malleable. Absolutely everything. The only thing that isn't malleable is that it isn't. It's like saying the only thing that doesn't change is change itself. So with that, before the book blows away, just remember that it's the idea, the meaning that we're trying to convey with each other. We're not trying to attack each other over the surface, over the shallow, over the simple, and over the trivial. Realizing such things will give us the ability to achieve much greater depths of humanity.